Finally, one more thought. Conventional wisdom, Paul Krugman writes, very heavily tends to reflect the preferences and the interests of the elite. A fair number of those preferences of the elite are being upset these days, like the preference for investing in iPhones.
The overall theme this time around is a nearly 10% shipment decline on an annual basis for Apple. It's the most significant decline of any of the phone makers they track. It indicates that Samsung is back in the number one global smartphone sales position.
Or the preference for buying a new Tesla, which it turns out isn't strong enough to justify all those employees.
This is a company that ended last year with over 140,000 people. So assuming this is company-wide, we know it's global according to Musk's email to staff. That would be more than 14,000 people.
Things are certainly changing in the oil industry. As long as most of us can remember, the world has had something of a preference for Middle Eastern oil, judging by how much it's bought. But now we learn the United States has actually passed Saudi Arabia, not to mention Russia, as the largest global oil producer. Speaking of Russia, there was a day when we knew for certain that Republicans were the ones to be the toughest on the Russians.
The ideas of freedom now are on trial. If they don't work, there will be a reversion to not communism, which has failed, but what I call a new despotism, which would pose a mortal danger to the rest of the world, because it would be infected with the virus of Russian imperialism, which of course has been a characteristic of Russian foreign policy for centuries.
But now we have the de facto leader of the Grand Old Party inviting Mr. Putin to invade European countries if they don't pay as much as he'd like on defense.
You didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
And maybe the biggest surprise of them all comes from the world of college sports. Until now, we thought we knew that, for whatever reason, audiences prefer to watch their college basketball played by men rather than women. But thanks in large part to Caitlin Clark, those days are gone. Her University of Iowa Hawkeyes battled South Carolina for the national championship in front of 18.7 million viewers, which was not only more than watched any other men's game, it was the largest audience for any basketball game, men's or women's, amateur or professional, since 2019.
That's the next evolution of college women's basketball.
Now Ms. Clark heads on to start for the Indiana Fever of the WNBA. And we'll all get to see what magic she can work there.
No matter what the opponent was, I prepped the exact same way. I prepared the same way. I brought the same fire. I brought the same energy. And I think that's the biggest thing going into my WNBA career.